Good afternoon, everyone. In the today's session of this machine tools and machine cuttings subject, I would like to discuss regarding the merchant's circle diagram, or we'll be simply calling it as an merchant's circle analysis. So, we'll be discussing the concepts related to the merchant's circle in the case of different working processes. The major aim or principle of this merchant circle diagram is to analyze the cutting forces based upon the parameters given to the machinery unit. So, what are the different kinds of forces that are being acting on the working workpiece, and what are the different kinds of parameters that are being executed over the tool, and what are the compensatory alignments has to be taken that will be get analyzed in the today's session. So briefly, we have will be discussing the detailed outline view of this merchant circle diagram. The scientist merchant introduced this concept for identifying the various cutting forces required in each and every machinery process. Indeed, to get the perfect dimensional accuracies over the machining processes. So the contact in between the tool and work part should be in what way? What are the parameters? Cutting parameters should be utilized, cutting forces, feed, speed of the spindle, depth of the cut should be maintained, different inclinational levels of the tool should be processed, etc. Will be coming to an analysis in the case of this merchant circle diagram. We will be discussing the briefly discussion related introductory point of this merchant circle, and what are the assumptions should be considered for the merchant circle diagram, and how the construction of this merchant's diagram will be existing indeed to analyze the future or the nearest features that will be going as an forecasting remedies or measures to be taken for examining the process without any intermittent faults occurring in the process commencement, and concern solutions related to the merchant's circle and the advantages related towards it. And based upon this, we'll come to an acknowledgement that what's the basic need of this cutting forces analyzation is required. So we all aware that there will be of different kinds of materials. Coming to the classifications, we are having metals and non-metals. In the case of metals, it is again subclassified into two groups: ferrous content of metals and the non-ferrous metals. In the case of non-metals, polymers and ceramics. So at each and every sub-level of the workpiece or else the materials, the type of machining process should be chosen, and depending upon the process and the type of material to be machined to attain the perfect dimensions as per the vendor specifications, without affecting the characteristics of the workpiece. We'll come to analyze briefly in the case of this Merchant's diagram. So even losses of these forces, occurrence of the frictional resistance, and limiting of the thermal stresses producing during the working process, and utilization of the lubrication process at a minimum range or maximum range, and based upon these all consequences, we'll come to analyze or we'll come to estimate the economical ratio of the process commencements. Coming to the basic introductory point of view, this merchant circle diagram is constructed for the ease of analysis of these cutting forces acting during the orthogonal cutting of the workpiece. So here we have a detailed step mentioned here, that is orthogonal cutting. So the machining processes and the cutting processes, types of cuttings, we are having two different types of cutting process. First one is an orthogonal cutting, which is limited to 2D representations, and the second one is an oblique cutting. And the basic difference between these two is the tool will be exactly maintaining 90 degrees with respect to the work part in the case of this orthogonal cutting. And in the case of that oblique cutting, it will be varied between 0 to 90 degrees, but not maintaining the 90 degrees. So then inclinational variations will be getting existed in the case of the oblique cutting. That is the basic difference between the orthogonal cutting and the oblique cutting, as we have discussed in our previous sessions also. And the scientists Ernst and Merchant had done this scientific analysis in 1941 and gives the relation with respect to the work part and the tool, or indeed to analyze the forces required for machining the work part with respect to the chosen tool, is that is the inclinational phi is equal to pi by 4 minus half of lambda minus alpha, and here the alpha represents the cutting angle and the lambda is the inclination of the orthogonal cutting ratio. It's very much convenient to determine various forces and angles. So different that will be happening of different inclinational work forces will be getting happening in the case of this oblique range of cutting, oblique cutting. But in the case of this orthogonal cutting, due to the some imbalance strategies such as vibrations, cost, or damping factors, different kinds of damping factors, the various forces and inclinations will be commenced. So those are very much inconvenient to analyze the cutting forces required for measuring the object to attain the required dimensional accuracies. Coming to the metal cutting process, is the process of removing the material, as we have been discussed in the previous classes, that MRR process, it is a material removal rate that will be elevated in the form of a chips. So we have already discussed related to the formation of chips and how many types of chips are existing, and if at all based upon the cutting conditions, the chips will be getting varied, continuous process, intermittent process, etc. And this metal cutting has been classified into two groups. There is orthogonal cutting and oblique cutting. As we have been discussed that in the case of this orthogonal cutting, the tool is maintained exactly at 90 degrees or perpendicular to the work part as shown in the diagram. There's a left diagram. The tool is exactly maintaining with respect to the 90 degrees towards the work part, and work part will be moving in this direction, and hence tool will be in a fixed strategy. Work part is in the moving strategy, and upon the process, the chip which is having a thickness of T1, that will be considering as a depth of cut, is being removed with the help of the tool, and this is the interaction point where the yield strength is being taking place or appearing in order to elevate or remove the material in the form of a chips. This is the chips. Simultaneously, in the case of this orthogonal cutting, the tool is maintained with respect to an different inclinations. So here there is no any inclination in the case of this orthogonal cutting. It's maintaining exactly at 90 degrees. But refer here this oblique cutting is maintaining with respect to the surface with respect to some inclination. That inclination will be in between 0 to 90 degrees, but not the 0, but not the 90, in between the 0 and 90. Right? Hence, in the case of this orthogonal cutting, only two force components such as cutting force and the thrust force can be examined. Hence, we are considering this as a two-dimensional cutting. In the case of orthogonal cutting, we are considering this as a two-dimensional cutting. Whereas this oblique cutting is considered the cutting edge was inclined at acute angles to the tool feed. Hence, three different components such as cutting force, thrust force. In addition to these two forces, radial forces are also considered. Hence, we'll be calling it as an three-dimensional cutting. So, in the case of this orthogonal cutting, shear force acts as a on small area. So, shear force in the sense that maximum forces that will be occurring on the work part will change its dimensions to the original dimensions. So due to the inducement of the stresses, and hence that will be acting only at this particular zone, so shearing will be considered that deform the original shapes and acquire the required dimensions necessary over the machining process. But in the case of here, shear force acts on large area because of the inclination towards the tool and the work part and its maintenance with respect to the acute angle. So here we have a detailed discussion towards this terminology that the tool and the work part engagement based upon this tool and work part engagement, what are the different forces will be acting on it with respect to the inclinational two-dimensional strategy, orthogonal status, and the oblique range, that is inclinational factors. See here, alpha refers to the rack angle, which is maintained exactly in an orthogonal strategy as shown in the diagram. That's a perfect 90 degrees maintenance. The next thing it is the frictional angle as denoted with respect to the lambda, and this is the frictional angle lambda, and hence processed in the range of this oblique cutting. Phi is the shear angle. So due to the machining process, the material will be deformed up to the plasticity of range due to the inducement of the high yield stresses within the material due to the interaction of this tool with the highest force. Hence, the chips will be getting elevated with respect to the shear forces, and hence the shear angle is denoted with respect to the phi. And F of T, there's the thrust force acting vertically downwards with respect to the material engagement. Fn is the normal shear force that tends to act the normal towards the applied forces. Fc is the cutting force. Fs is the shear force which is acting at the tool engagement or tool tip engagement with respect to the material, and F is the frictional force acting in unidirectional strategy without changing its movement, nothing but particularly towards its magnitude and its direction. N is the normal frictional force acting perpendicular to the frictional force. V is the feeding velocity. So at what ratio the tool should be remove the material in the form of a chips, and the particular thicknesses maintenance will be terminated or will be accessed by this speed velocity. So in that, the assumptions required to be considered in the case of this merchant circle diagram we'll be discussing in detail one by one. First one is the tool edge is sharp. So nominally we'll be calling it as the tool tip or tip of the tool, which will be exactly in contact with respect to the work part. Second thing, the work material undergoes deformation across a thin shear plane. So based upon the working environment, the tool will be in a fixed strategy as shown in the diagram previously here, and the work part will be acting a particular direction of flow. Hence, the material range of or thickness of T1, that is a feed rate, will be occurring across a thin shear plane. There is a uniform distribution of normal and shear stresses on a shear plane, which exactly maintain some inclinational factors which varies in between the 0 to 90 degrees exactly. The work material is rigid and perfectly, it's in plastic range up to the plastic, and the shear angle phi adjusts itself to a minimum state of work. So here the phi represents exactly the removal of the material with an inclinational variance that is quite opposite to the normal force acting, or else completely perpendicular to the Fn forces, nothing but the normal shear forces acting. So that phi is the perfect inclinational maintenance of in a perpendicular strategy towards the normal shear stresses or shear forces occurring over the work part. The frictional angle lambda, it remains constant and as independent of the phi. So the frictional angle, that is lambda, as represented with respect to the diagram, and this is the work part. Blue color indicates the work part, which is moving towards the right side directions with an force of EF, frictional force, and the material should be removed to a range of sum of the thickness by the feeding provided at the input level, and this lambda, which is in maintenance of with respect to them opposite of the oblique cutting range tool tip, that should be assumed as an independent, it's quite independent with respect to the phi. Phi is nothing but the shear angles. So shear angle which is being obtained with respect to the frictional forces developed in between the tool and this work part. And the chip width remains the constant. The chip does not flow or deviate its directions. It should be moved in a perfect, only in uniform direction without tending to move towards the other directions. So it should be maintained an unique direction and magnitude. So or magnitude and direction. So this is the way of constructing the merchant's circle. Initially making a draw of this diagram. There's a work part and the tool engagement, assuming to remove the material where this alpha represents the rack angle and this lambda quietly maintaining with respect to an sharp opposition towards the frictional angle that the resistance produced due to the application of force to the turning forces of the work part or the frictional forces of the work part and due to the velocity of the tool engagement. Hence, this R is the resultant force that has been applied, that has been obtained with respect to an shear forces engagement at the tool tip and the work part engagement. So the forces with respect to the tool is applying in such a manner as the force, and quite opposite, that is perpendicular to the applied force, the normal forces is being applied, and quite opposite towards it, the normal forces will be getting applied, and due to that forces engagement at exact of 90 degrees maintenance towards these normal forces, the shear forces will be induced on the work part. This is the cutting forces processed due to the engagement of this work part and the tool, and hence the resultant will be occurred only at the mating condition of the tip of the tool and the work part. So indeed to construct the or indeed to analyze the MRR process or how much forces required, the calculations or the formulations can be framed due to the combination of these types of these many forces that are acting during the machining process. See, once again I will be repeating. This is the tool which is having with moving with some velocity, and the work part which is moving towards the opposite direction of the applied tool and its parameters, and the tool forces, it is exactly cutting here with respect to this alpha. Alpha here clearly represents the rack angle, and with exact maintenance of perpendicular strategy towards the forces applied. The normal forces will be getting normal is the towards the applied forces, the normal acting exactly 90 degrees by maintenance. That too over the movement of the work part. So over the movement of the work part in the sense, this is the material already elevated here. So what is the basic size of the material? This is the overall height of the material. So after removing particular material here, see this is an charted line, and next is the material already removed, and this is the required height should be maintained. So for that, we need to elevate the material up to a particular range of height. So due to the normal, by maintaining of this rack angle and frictional angle should be maintained with respect to the tool initiation, that's denoted with respect to the lambda. By processing this cutting or shear angle, that is phi, that is maintained with respect to this lambda, the normal forces will be acting towards the material. So this is the material that the unwanted material should be removed on the machining process. And the exact perpendicular towards the normal forces acting, the shear forces will be confined with respect to the tip of the tool. Hence, this is the shear forces occurring because the material has to be removed only at the shear conditions. So cutting process is simply in the case of this direction, that is for our convenience it is an minus x-axis direction, and this is the positive axis. Hence the cutting forces results in the case of this lambda minus alpha, the cutting angle minus the frictional angle, rack angle minus the frictional angle leads to an shear angle. So phi is equal to lambda minus alpha. Hence, the resultant forces, frictional forces development towards the cutting forces and normal forces occurrence. Here, see, the resistance to the shear forces of a metal in forming the chip acts as along the shear plane. As you have been considered in the shear plane, the material which need to be removed or which need to be machined. And Fn is the backup forces that the chip will be in a ready mode, will be going as in a ready mode in order to remove. N is the tool chip interface normal to the cutting force of the tool and provided by the tool. As we have been already discussed that it's a normal towards the cutting force applied and towards the lambda, that is cutting angle. And normal frictional resistance which is developed in order to elevate the chips upon the interaction of this tool and the work part engagement. Hence, it leads to n solutions based on the applied conditions and how much forces are required, how much cutting forces are required, how much thrust forces are required, and at what cutting angle should be maintained by the tool over the work part surface, and what is the frictional angle to be maintained can be calculated in a by utilizing this Merchant's diagram. Hence, normal forces F or the cutting forces F acting, how much forces should be allowed over the tool to machine the particular process is calculated with respect to the cutting forces, with respect to the sine angle, plus the thrust forces with respect to the cosine angle. Hence, the cutting forces required or the maximum forces should be imparted is equal to the cutting forces with respect to the sine angle plus the cutting for or thrust forces with respect to cosine angles. And the normal here represents the cutting forces cosine angle minus the thrust forces sine angle. So these are the formulations. Considered for the normal with respect to the applied force and the forces to be applied, the summation of the cutting forces and the thrust forces with respect to the sine and cosine angles in between them, and the difference between the cutting forces and the thrust forces with respect to the cosine and sine angles relates towards the normal. It is quite opposite to the forces that has been developed with respect to its trigonometrical angles. The coefficient of friction which is being developed on the interaction of this tool and work part as denoted with respect to the mu. We all aware that mu is equal to F by N, normal force by N, and hence the above two formulas will be substituted in the place of F and in the place of N, Fc, and it will be leads towards the cutting forces tan alpha plus Ft by the cutting forces minus thrust forces tan alpha sin by cos tan alpha, and hence lambda is an inverse trans of or tan inverse of this coefficient of friction. Hence lambda is considered as the thrust angle that is maintained. Hence the cutting inclinations as we have been clearly assisted with respect to the frictional forces developed, and lambda here tan inverse mu, and mu is the coefficient of friction, and due to the friction the inclinations are being produced by the inducement of these forces by the tool and the work part, which will be moving in an opposite directions to each other, leads to an frictional angle that is tan inverse of mu. And hence on the shear plane, nominally it will be changing in its signatures, that shear forces is Fc is frictional forces or cutting forces cosine inclination minus the thrust forces inclination, and even the normal forces here represents normal forces, the cutting forces sine inclination plus the thrust forces inclinational parameters, or else even based upon this we can calculate the thrust forces. If at all the thrust forces haven't given, then indeed to identify the thrust forces, that the normal forces with respect to the cos inclination minus the shear forces sin inclination will leads to the thrust forces. So this is the depth of cut, and hence thrust forces in the sense the depth of cut can be clearly identified, or the thickness of the material which is yet to be removed in the machining process, that can be clearly examined over here. And indeed to find the cutting force is required for removing the material, the normal forces that are being acting, and the summation of the shear forces that are acting. And on and shearing conditions, that tan phi leads to an uncut chip thickness by the chip thickness after the cutting. That is, uncutting conditions will be having the T, and after cutting will be having the variation in the thickness by decreasing in its measurements. Now, the shear plane was denoted with respect to A is equal to Bt by sine alpha. That is the average stresses on shear plane area. Here are the representations. That is tau of S represented with respect to the tau S is equal to the forces, that is shear forces to the shear plane, and the stresses, shear stresses produced, shear strains and shear stresses. That is the normal forces to the shear plane, normal forces required for removing the material over the shear plane. So shear plane is the plane which is obtained due to the forces applied by the cutting tool over the work part. So this is the analysis of the Merchant diagram due to the inducement of the forces, direction of the cut or force of cut, and we'll be analyzing this normal and the normal forces developed and the thrust forces, examining the inclinational factors, the shearing angle and the shearing angle and the thrust angle to be maintained, and finally the frictional angle analysis. So by this we'll be having one conclusion. We'll be coming to a conclusion that how much forces are required, at what inclination the tool need to be maintained indeed to get the perfect removal rate, MRR rate. And we can use to find the maximum forces development, cutting forces development, thrust forces identification with respect to the resultant conditions due to the inducement of the tool forces provided here. So for concepts, we are being assuming that lambda is independent. So here the lambda is nothing but the frictional angle which is independent with respect to the phi. That is nothing but the thrust angle. And for maximum stress, if you have been considered, that is tau by phi is equal to 0 upon substitutions of this force formulations. Here will be obtaining the thrust angle is equal to 45 degrees plus lambda by 2 minus, sorry, alpha by 2 minus lambda by 2. Here the alpha relates towards the cutting angle and lambda is the shear or else the frictional angle. By this, what we are being analyzing. So this analysis, which is very much helpful for the stiffness design, for the machine tolerance, and the workpiece can withstand to these cutting forces which are predicted in a shear, and the behavior and machinability characteristics of the workpiece can be clearly examined here, and we can even estimate the cutting power required for commencement of the process, entire process from the power sources, and even the condition can be monitored by the cutting tools and the machine tools. Coming to the basic advantages of this merchant circle diagram, it is very much easy, quick, and reasonably accurate determination of several other forces such as cutting forces, thrust forces, machinery forces, normal forces, shear forces, and the cutting directional forces also can be clearly examined by utilizing the thrust forces and even its inclinations, that is cutting angle, thrust angle, frictional angle, clearly examined. And this friction of chip tool interface and dynamic yield shear strength can easily be determined. And even by these equations, we can relate with respect to one relation to the other relation. Either as if the cutting forces only has been provided, cutting forces to the normal forces, we can obtain the resultant forces, and even the shear forces can be examined clearly. So that is the greater advantages by this merchant circle diagram. Coming to the limitations of this merchant diagram, it's valid only for the orthogonal cutting, but not the oblique cutting, because only the two-dimensional representations can be carried for detailed analysis calculations with respect to this merchant diagram. By the ratio of this force and normals, this merchant circle diagrams give an apparent coefficient of friction, but not the detailed or actual coefficient of friction. That is a mu development. It's based on only the single shear plane theory. And what you have been observed upon these calculations, the shear angle examined by the relations, that is phi is equal to 45 degrees plus alpha by 2 minus lambda by 2. That's the cutting angle divided by 2 minus the frictional angle lambda by 2. And for that particular purpose, that phi should be equivalent, that is nothing but alpha should be n greater than 15 degrees if phi is equal to alpha. And if at all phi is equal to only the 50 degrees, alpha must be less than the 50 degrees. So these are the two different conditions need to be examined. Because of that 45 degrees, if it has been greater alpha utilization than the 15 degrees with respect to the phi, it will be related towards the counter forces generations towards the tool from the work part. So this is the merchant circle diagram analysis. Thank you. We'll be meeting in the next class.